We've been told thinking is the key to success, but what if it's secretly holding us back? Constant thought drains creativity, fuels anxiety, and blocks clarity. In this video, discover why your brain wasn't built to run nonstop and how stillness unlocks the freedom you've been missing. Chapter 1: The Tyranny of Thought. Imagine lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling. Your body is exhausted, but your mind refuses to rest. Thoughts race like cars on a highway. What you said earlier, what you should have done differently, what tomorrow might bring. It feels endless. Thinking is supposed to help us solve problems, but when it never stops, it becomes a trap. We live in a culture that glorifies thinking. We're told to analyze, plan, strategize, and constantly stay ahead. But here's the paradox. The more we think, the less clarity we often have. Our minds loop back on themselves, replaying the same worries, the same doubts, until we're drained. Thinking becomes noise. The human brain is extraordinary, but it wasn't designed to run nonstop. Just like a smartphone overheats when too many apps are open, our minds overheat when we never pause. And unlike a phone, we can't just press a button to shut it down. We carry the weight of thought everywhere into our work, our relationships, even our sleep. Psychologist Carl Jung once said, "Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge." His words remind us that thinking, when uncontrolled, often slips into judgment, worry, or fear. It's not that thinking itself is bad, it's that constant thinking leaves no room for perspective. Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed. Chances are it wasn't because of what was happening in reality, but because of the endless commentary in your head. The mind creates scenarios, exaggerates risks, and builds stories that may never come true. We mistake this mental chatter for productivity, but it's often just noise. Here's the shocking truth: your brain wasn't built to think all the time. It was built to alternate between focus and rest. When you deny it rest, you deny yourself clarity. That's why moments of silence, walking without headphones, sitting quietly, staring out the window, can feel strangely refreshing. They're not wasted time. They're essential. But why do we resist stillness? Because we've been conditioned to equate busyness with worth. If we're not thinking, we fear we're falling behind. Yet the opposite is true. Constant thought doesn't make us smarter, it makes us stuck. Picture this: you're trying to untangle a knot in a rope. The harder you pull, the tighter it gets. Thinking works the same way. The more you force solutions, the more tangled your mind becomes. Sometimes the only way to loosen the knot is to stop pulling, to pause, breathe, and let the rope relax. This is why people often find clarity in unexpected places. A shower, a walk, a quiet moment before sleep. It's not because those moments are magical, it's because they're free of constant thought. The brain finally has space to reorganize itself. And here's where the shift begins. Recognizing that thinking is a tool, not a master. You wouldn't use a hammer for every task in your house. So why use thinking for every moment of your life? Thinking is powerful when directed, but destructive when constant. If you've ever felt trapped in your own head, know this: you're not broken. You're simply caught in the tyranny of thought. And the way out isn't more thinking, it's learning when to stop. Now, before we go deeper, I want to pause here. If this resonates with you, if you've ever felt the exhaustion of constant thought, make sure to subscribe to this channel. That way, you won't miss the next steps in this journey, where we'll explore how stillness can transform your mind. Subscribing is a small action, but it keeps you connected to ideas that can change the way you live. Because here's the truth: the world doesn't need you to think more. It needs you to think better. And better thinking begins with knowing when to stop. So as we close this chapter, reflect on your own patterns. How often do you mistake mental noise for clarity? How often do you let your thoughts run unchecked? The first step is awareness. Once you see the tyranny of thought, you can begin to break free. Chapter 2, The Forgotten Power of Stillness. Think back to the last time you felt truly calm. Maybe it was sitting quietly in the morning before the world woke up, or walking through a park with no destination in mind. Those moments often feel rare, almost accidental, yet they carry a kind of magic. Stillness is not just the absence of movement or thought, it's the hidden engine that restores your mind. We often overlook the importance of stillness because it doesn't look productive. Sitting quietly doesn't earn you a paycheck. Daydreaming doesn't get you a promotion. But here's the twist. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history happened when people weren't actively thinking. The mind, when given space, begins to reorganize itself. Ideas surface, emotions settle, and clarity emerges. Consider how creativity often strikes when you least expect it. You're showering, cooking, or simply staring out the window, and suddenly the solution to a problem appears. It's not because you forced it, it's because you stopped forcing it. The brain has a natural rhythm, alternating between focus and rest. When you honor that rhythm, you unlock its full potential. Stillness is not laziness, it's maintenance. Just as muscles need recovery after exercise, the mind needs recovery after thought. Without it, your mental energy drains, your focus weakens, and your emotions spiral. Yet, when you allow yourself moments of quiet, you recharge. You give your brain the chance to process experiences, store memories, and prepare for the next challenge. Think of stillness as a hidden operating system. You don't see it running, but it's always there, repairing and recalibrating. When you pause, you activate that system. It's why meditation, mindfulness, and even simple breathing exercises can feel so powerful. They're not mystical, they're practical ways of letting the brain do its background work. But stillness doesn't have to mean sitting cross-legged in silence. It can be found in everyday life. Walking without headphones, cooking without distractions, watching the sunset without pulling out your phone. These small acts of presence create space for your mind to breathe. They remind you that life isn't just about constant input, it's also about absorbing the moment. The challenge is that we've been conditioned to fear stillness. In a world of notifications, deadlines, and endless scrolling, silence feels uncomfortable. We reach for our phones the moment there's a pause. We fill every gap with noise. But what if those gaps are exactly what we need? What if the silence we avoid is the key to clarity? Imagine your mind as a glass of muddy water. When you keep stirring it, the water stays cloudy. But when you set it down and let it rest, the mud settles and the water clears. Stillness works the same way. It allows the chaos of thought to settle, revealing clarity beneath. This is why people often describe moments of stillness as peaceful or even transformative. It's not that the world changes, it's that your perception changes. You begin to see things more clearly, respond more calmly, and act more intentionally. Stillness doesn't erase problems, but it gives you the strength to face them with perspective. There's also a deeper layer to stillness: connection. When you stop thinking, you start noticing. The sound of birds outside, the warmth of sunlight, the rhythm of your own breathing. These details, often ignored, remind you that you're part of something larger. They ground you in the present moment, pulling you out of the endless loops of thought. And here's the surprising part. Stillness doesn't take hours. Even a few minutes can make a difference. A short pause between tasks, a deep breath before a meeting, a moment of silence before speaking. These micro breaks reset your mind, allowing you to approach life with more clarity and less stress. Stillness is also a gateway to creativity. When you stop filling your mind with constant noise, you create space for new ideas. That's why artists, writers, and inventors often value solitude. It's not about escaping the world, it's about giving the mind room to wander freely. In that wandering, connections form, insights emerge, and creativity flourishes. Yet stillness is not only for artists, it's for everyone. Whether you're a student, a parent, or a professional, moments of quiet can transform the way you live. They help you make better decisions, strengthen relationships, and find balance in a chaotic world. The forgotten power of stillness lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require special tools or complicated techniques. It asks only that you pause, that you step away from the noise, even briefly, and allow your mind to rest. In that pause, you discover clarity, creativity, and peace. So as you reflect on this chapter, ask yourself, where can you find stillness in your own life? Maybe it's in the morning before the day begins. Maybe it's during a walk without distractions. Or maybe it's simply closing your eyes for a minute and breathing deeply. Whatever form it takes, stillness is waiting for you. Chapter 3. Living between thought and presence. We've explored the weight of constant thought and the forgotten power of stillness. Now comes the most important part, learning how to live between the two. Life isn't about choosing one extreme thinking all the time or abandoning thought completely. It's about balance. It's about knowing when to think and when to simply be. Imagine a pendulum swinging back and forth. On one side is focused thought planning, problem solving, analyzing. On the other side is presence, silence, awareness, stillness. The pendulum is meant to move. If it gets stuck on one side, the rhythm is lost. Living well means letting the pendulum swing naturally, allowing both states to exist in harmony. Thinking is a tool. It helps us design, create, and solve. But tools are meant to be used intentionally. You wouldn't carry a hammer in your hand all day, hitting everything you see. In the same way, you don't need to think every moment. Presence is the counterbalance. It's the pause that gives thought its meaning. Presence is not about escaping reality, it's about entering it more fully. When you're present, you notice details you usually miss: the sound of footsteps, the warmth of sunlight, the rhythm of your own breathing. These small details ground you. They remind you that life is happening now, not in the endless loops of your mind. The challenge is that our culture rewards thinking more than presence. We're praised for productivity, for multitasking, for always being on. But presence doesn't show up on a resume. It shows up in how you live. It shows up in the calmness of your decisions, the depth of your relationships, and the clarity of your actions. So, how do you begin to live between thought and presence? Start small. Take micro breaks throughout the day. 2 minutes of conscious breathing before a meeting, a short walk without your phone, cooking without background noise. These moments may seem insignificant, but they reset your mind. They allow the pendulum to swing back toward presence. Another practice is journaling. Writing down your thoughts is like unloading a heavy backpack. Once they're on paper, they no longer weigh you down. Journaling doesn't erase thinking, it organizes it. And once organized, you can step back into presence with more ease. You can also create no thought zones. These are spaces or times where you intentionally avoid analysis. For example, during a walk, you don't plan your day or replay conversations. You simply walk. During a meal, you don't scroll your phone or rush through bites. You taste, you notice, you enjoy. These zones remind you that life is not just about solving problems, it's about experiencing them. Living between thought and presence also means recognizing when thought is useful and when it's not. If you're solving a math problem, thinking is essential. If you're replaying an argument from last week, thinking may be unnecessary. The skill lies in noticing the difference. Awareness is the doorway. Presence doesn't mean silence all the time. It means being fully engaged in whatever you're doing. If you're talking with a friend, presence means listening deeply instead of planning your response. If you're working, presence means focusing on the task instead of drifting into worry. Presence is about immersion, not escape. The beauty of living between thought and presence is that each strengthens the other. Thought gives structure to presence, and presence gives clarity to thought. When you allow yourself to rest in presence, your thinking becomes sharper. When you use thinking intentionally, your presence becomes deeper. It's a cycle that feeds itself. Think of it like music. Notes are important, but so are the pauses between them. Without pauses, music becomes noise. Without notes, it becomes silence. Together, they create rhythm. Life works the same way. Thinking and presence are the notes and pauses of your existence. This balance also changes how you handle challenges. When faced with a problem, you think to find solutions. But once you've thought enough, you step into presence to let clarity emerge. Often, the best answers come not from forcing thought, but from allowing presence to reveal them. Living between thought and presence is not about perfection. You won't always get it right. Sometimes you'll overthink. Sometimes you'll drift too far into distraction. That's okay. The goal is not to eliminate imbalance, it's to notice it and gently return to rhythm. Over time, this practice transforms your life. You become less reactive, more intentional. You stop chasing every thought and start living in the moment. You realize that thinking is not the enemy, and presence is not a luxury. They are partners, each giving meaning to the other. So as you step into this balance, ask yourself, where can you let the pendulum swing today? Maybe it's pausing before you speak. Maybe it's noticing the taste of your food. Maybe it's setting aside time to think deliberately, then letting go. Whatever it looks like, the balance is yours to create. Living between thought and presence is not about doing more. It's about being more. It's about reclaiming the rhythm of your mind and the richness of your life. And once you taste that balance, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it.